Hello, everybody. Delighted to have you all on this recording this afternoon. And I'll start by a brief introduction of each one of you. And, all this is being structured for the Center for Responsible Leadership's online platform. We bring eminent people from time to time. And the goal first is that people start to understand why are these people chosen to be on this platform, in this dialogue. The way I look at it is, these are the people who I feel are trying to transform the world. We only have small goals, and all the small goal is just to transform the world, nothing else, nothing that big, nothing that large, right? It can easily be done. So here today, we have Alain Chetrit, the founder of the Knowledge Pledge, his close advisor and board member, Leland Schwartz, and our dear Payal Farasat, the person who introduced us and brought us together, who is one of the pioneering women in the field of investment banking. In fact, I think tomorrow we have a recording with her. You didn't know that. And here, not last but not the least, is the CEO of Countable and advisor to the Center for Responsible Leadership, Mr. Bart Myers. And Bart, we are envious that you're sitting in Hawaii. But nevertheless, in this age of technology, what is unique is we may be in any part of the world, but at a moment's notice, we can come together and we can start to share. That is one of the principles behind the creation of the CRL platform. We want to magnify our impact, multiply it rapidly, get people around the world engaged in it. So Alain, let me begin with you. You have accomplished much, my friend, in the corporate world and with the YPO network, which I think is one of the most powerful network, the Young Presidents Organization, launching the Impact Awards there. And last but not the least, in that whole stint with the YPO and other engagement, just only creating the Boss stores around the world. And in honor of that, I'm wearing a Boss trouser today. I said, I have to do that. But after having accomplished all that, what motivated you to launch the Knowledge Pledge? And as you begin that, tell us something. Begin with this, please. There is enough to read about you online. But is there something that you would like to tell the people who will be engaging on the platform, personal about Alain?
Well, first of all, Bawa, thank you very much for having me. It's just a total delight and privilege to be on your platform and to have gotten to meet you recently. I'm just a husband, a father, a grandfather. I'm a business builder. I've spent many years building businesses over the course of my career, and they were spanning in different directions. With the luxury fashion was one of them. You mentioned Hugo Boss. Built a technology company in the early 90s. Financial services. I had a business in hedge fund business for a number of years, and then the life sciences business. So I was always involved in looking at P&Ls and growing businesses and the issues that come with that, which was a wonderful time. But I come from a family of a diamond and precious stone dealers. The family wanted me involved in their businesses, and in those business, and I chose not to. I chose to go the entrepreneurial route, and with all that entails. So that's maybe what's not known out there. Not that people should know much about me, but yes, that my family has demonstrated the importance of giving, the importance of family values, and I respect that.
Very interesting. You share something which is common in my community. The Jains today, the Jain community is one of the leaders in the diamond business. In fact, New York Diamond will tell you. Ask the De Beers and they will tell you who are some of the prominent families. Very interesting. You left that family business and you started. Just tell us a little bit briefly where you started, how you got to be a YPO. What does being a YPO mean?
Uh, so in the YPO lingo is what was my qualifying business. So YPO has qualifications by number of employees and certain level of revenues and a certain age. So at some point I met all that criteria, and I was invited to join YPO. I had a retail and manufacturing of apparel business at the time, and Hugo Boss was one of our retail businesses. And so that's how I got involved in YPO. Spent a number of years in the apparel manufacturing and retailing business in New York and in Washington, D.C. And that was my start.
Very interesting. Now, just for people here, how many YPOs are there in the world?
So over 30,000 members at this point. We are in 140 some countries, about 450 chapters across the world. And there's one metric that occasionally when I was on the international board and traveled officially for YPO, that I would use here and there, it was that if YPO was a country, it would have the 7th or so largest GDP in the world, if by the revenue. So that's the kind of 30,000 members representing about several $1 trillion of revenue.
Now that is remarkable. I think this is one of the most influential sources of power, which has been most unharnessed. And I think they can do so much more in the world. And what is the age of qualification for a young president to be in a young president's organization?
So that is 45 is the limit. So, but the most members enter when they're 40 or 30 in their late 30s or so. So it's for individuals who have been successful at a certain age and have reached a certain level of revenue. I think the revenue now is about $16 or $17 million of annual revenue would be the qualifying threshold, and 50 employees. Those are.
Is that universal? It's across the world, or does it change based on the GDP and the level of the country's revenue outputs?
No, it's across the world. There are occasional, I believe, adjustments, but I don't think they're frequent. So it's across the world. So it's unfair in some cases, but
no, I have engaged with the YPO for at least 20 plus years, and I found them some of the most motivating people. And what impressed me with the YPO network is, I remember one story of one YPO from San Francisco, who is quite a revolutionary guy. And I bring the story up in terms of what a position of influence can do. So he decided to support charity in Kenya. And this is a Dutch woman working with slum children. And they want to raise some funds. He liked the charity. So he had a bunch of YPOs at his house in San Francisco in the Bay Area. And he took out a very rare bottle of wine. And he says, we have to support this lady. He gave them all the presentation, everything. And then he put that bottle up for auction. Now, the crowd. What do you think the one bottle of wine might have auctioned for that night?
Oh, it depends who was around the table, but their heart is big. A number of well-intentioned YPO members with a big heart, and it probably was not about buying the wine. It's about transferring some value to others and assets. So I've seen good stories like that. I don't know the value that the wine.
Take a guess. Take a guess, Alain. Take a guess.
I'm going to let you tell. So I'm sure you'll correct me, but it must have been a pretty important number. Was it $30,000? Was it $50,000? I don't know.
I mean, see, what is remarkable is that bottle of wine was auctioned for $1 million.
Yeah.
That evening.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the heart of the YPO. That's why it's so motivating to see that having accomplished that, you chaired them, right, internationally?
Well, I'm going to inject a story of mine in there. In 2012, I was on the YPO International Board, and I was in Singapore for a big event that was taking place, where there was a couple thousand YPO members there for that event. And I looked around the room and I said, there are some amazing people in this room, but we really don't know much about what's in their heart. We know a lot about their businesses and some of the metrics that we use, but not what's in their heart. So that's when I approached the board and said, there are members here making an impact, and they could actually be an inspiration for others. And we need to be doing something to highlight them and bring them forward so that we create a multiplier effect for the planet. So not only do we do things inside YPO, but we need to also take what we learn and that motivation that we create among ourselves and transfer it out so we can benefit the world. I was fortunate, the board chair at the time, Rob Francis, he gave me the okay to go forward. Several board members, reached out to me and said, love to help you. And we created what was called the Global Impact Initiative, which went around to recognize members, like maybe some of the people you got to know in YPO, to look around from the grassroots, looking for members who are doing great things around the world, and giving them a voice, giving them a platform, and making sure they were, highlighted enough to stimulate others. And that worked well. It's still going on. It's now the highest or the second highest award YPO bestows on its members. It's called the Global Impact Award, and I'm pleased to have been highly involved with it. So, and then
absolutely remarkable, because I begin with the YPO and think, because my next question to you in this is, really to understand is, how did the experiences with your YPO, especially, remember each YPO has their own group, that group becomes really your primary support structure and become more than a family. How did that, can you share, because a lot of people don't know how those are structured and how they support each other in difficulty, in adversity, in joy, in every sphere.
It's one of the most amazing products that YPO offers its members. It's called forums. And so I'm actually in several forums. And forum is just a way to be among peers, to share ideas, concerns, and help each other. And so groups are under 10 people, generally 8 to 10. And we meet monthly. I just had a forum meeting this morning, in fact, with some of my friends from across the globe. I'm on internet international forum. So we checked in on COVID, how COVID was affecting their community and their businesses and so forth. And so, we share ideas and we learn from each other. It's what we say in YPO is that chapters attract members, but forums is the sticky product that keeps members in YPO because of the tight relationships people develop among themselves.
Is it fair to say that the forum relationship sometimes is even more sacred than family? Your biological family?
Yes, I understood, but they probably don't compare. There are certain things that are very personal that can be shared maybe in the confidence of your forum members that you may not even share with your family. Yes, that probably it can be the case. The reason why YPO exists in the first place is because there was one leader back in the 50s his father has died. He ended up with a business. He was in his 20s and he had a good sized business, and he was not able to actually share his issues or his concerns with his staff, with the people in the company. He was in his 20s, but now he was the owner of that business, and he put an ad in the paper and said, looking for people, and he put an age target and a minimum volume size of the business. $1 million was at the time. And for those who were in that category to reach out to him. And then a few people reached out to him that created a little group, probably first forum ever to exist. They got together and organized themselves so they could share issues. And that's really what forum is. It's you get to connect with peers with similar trajectories of life, maybe, and you share, what goes on in your life personally and in your business and in your family. So,
I have had many experiences with the YPO and WPO and CEO groups also, done a lot with them. And they're just an absolutely remarkable group of people, very committed. And what I saw within the forum group members, what they share and how they share and support each other is just, I wish everybody could have that kind of a support system in the world. It helps so much.
I'll give you something on that. So when I launched the YPO Global Impact Initiative. So we're looking for members doing amazing things around the world and so forth. And I came across somebody, his name is Abhijit Pawar. Abhijit, he's from Pune, India, but I met him we were in Turkey when I met him. And then he shared his story. What he had done, he, like most people, have learned about the forum experience when he joined YPO. And he got to learn the basics, the format, the way it works, what makes it function, the language we use, all of those things. And he created what he called Forum in a Box, and he made it available to women in his state in India, where at the time when I checked numbers, it was like 70,000 women are in forums in his state because he actually funded it. He created the model. There's a format, there's a moderator, there's the way you engage each other and so forth. And he made that available. And he raised people's lives, made sure people are able to help each other in the villages and wherever they may be. And he was recognized with the first global award back in, and now he's my partner at the Knowledge Pledge. So when the idea of the Knowledge Pledge came about, Abhijit and I were first in this conversation. We're saying, what else can we be doing for our members? We started out with our members. Now we have we were having this discussion, then COVID had just started. It was probably February, March of last year. We iterated in several ways, ended up saying that this project, the Knowledge Pledge, needs to be outside of YPO for a reason. Because we have the YPO community, we know it well, we know how to reach out to them, we know how to communicate, all of that, that's a community. But there are many other communities out there that need to be involved in this sharing of knowledge. And that's where the Knowledge Pledge exists outside of YPO, with a deep relationship with YPO in order to collaborate. So we do a number of things with the YPO, with their impact networks, but we also bring people from outside of YPO into the Knowledge Pledge and share knowledge together. So
that's a remarkable story with Abhijit, what you shared and how people get inspired. And it's a perfect segue to get into the Knowledge Pledge. But before I get into that, I want to ask you also, because what I have felt is that not only you, but your spouses and your children are also very much a part of the YPO family. And each of them engage in a way which becomes like a peer relationship, a mentor relationship, a family relationship, a support system. Because that is something which the world really needs. A lot of us are looking, when we come to our own crossroads, who is there that I can counsel with? But you have that structure here, which is just absolutely remarkable to me.
There is such a thing as the code of conduct in YPO. So at least the responsiveness for communication, it's same day or 24 hours for anything. So YPO member reaches out to you, you have that's part of the code of conduct, same day or 24 hours. So there, in terms of family needs and so forth, there is also communication channels to be able to say, looking at XYZ University, anyone with an experience there or something, and people can share their knowledge about how they can respond to questions. And also there is another body within YPO called the YNG, Young Adult Networks.
Yeah.
Uh, and then that's for the children of YPO, and they organize themselves. My children, they're now a little more advanced in age, so they don't qualify for YNG anymore. But up until they were 29, for probably 10 years prior to that, they were involved in a forum experience for people of their age. They were out of college. They were, my son was working in New York, and he got together with people from, different walks of life, from YPO families who were in New York. And he had a great experience joining a forum there. Now he's not a YPO member, and he's not in a YNG anymore, but he's joined a forum independent of any of that. There are forums that exist for a fee, and he's joined the forum that he's, it became part of his culture. And we are actually learn to speak the same language as a family.
That's remarkable. It's remarkable. Now, you're at a time where you've achieved so much. You could easily be playing golf every day, having nice socials, and trying to, what people say, enjoy life. But you chose to launch the Knowledge Pledge. I mean, I think the greatest gift one can give is knowledge. But why did you do that? What was your motivation?
Well, golf is overrated, by the way. Although I enjoy around here and there, but I don't think I would get the sense of purpose that I'm seeking through the activities that I'm engaging in with the Knowledge Pledge. I'm realizing that over the years I've been focusing on business, and although I had the right value system and all that, but still 90%, 100% of my time was dedicated to business. Now there is a time for, building a legacy, an example for my children. I mean, there is always, is what we do for others gives me a lot more, a feeling of significance and purpose and legacy. And so I'm doing it because it's something that I feel good about. It makes me feel good. It gives me that pleasure, but it also because the planet needs it. There are so many issues going that we have to address. And for those who have had the privilege of geography or education or maybe just the luck of making some wealth, to be sitting on the sideline and playing golf, I think that's shameful. I think I have nothing against golf, but I think there is a time for golf, and there's a time for also giving away what you learn. There is something in here that everyone captures over the course of their career and time, and it shouldn't just reside in their brains. It should go and be made available to humanity again and again. And so we want to facilitate that. We want to unlock those hours of time that people can actually give in order to improve the human condition in many different ways.
What you touched on was something absolutely significant to me, is that I think the greatest joy is in sharing, not in receiving, is in giving. And I have felt that also in my life. That's been my motivation to create a Center for Responsible Leadership, to identify people like you, and let people also listen to the stories that we are not here accumulating wealth and just then going to play golf or buying a very expensive car or spending $80,000 on a bottle of whiskey with a bunch of friends, and turns out that was a adulterated one, but nobody knew the difference because of money thing. So there's motivation in life, and I think fair to say that Knowledge Pledge, as you say, is getting people to share from what they have learned, is what I'm hearing from you. So help us understand, a little more about the Knowledge Pledge and what is it that you are doing with the Knowledge Pledge?
I think you and I must have been brothers in a different life or something, because I respect everything you say about how you feel about life and what you respect. In my family, we respected more what people gave than what they actually had in assets. And I could see that from, father, grandfather, and all that. It was just what they respected, what they talked about. So and so he gave so much.
Yeah.
They didn't say so and so owns that. They never said so and so owns a boat, but they would say so and so gave something or another. So that's where I saw the respect to that. But the knowledge pledge, the execution of knowledge pledge, if you think about what Airbnb has done, they've actually went around the world, identified homes that were available to rent or rooms, and put them on a platform and made them available so others could rent them. There, that was an excess capacity of rooms or homes that was made, that's now put on. TKP is looking to find the excess capacity in people's minds and make it available to the planet. So the Airbnb of your mind, and making knowledge on a platform. And there's no reason why such, there are platforms for a number of things. There are platforms like Facebook and Google and all these platforms that share different things. But knowledge is a different category that there is no reason why it shouldn't be on a platform. So we're piloting now with several projects that are, some of them came through the UN World Food Program that we're working on, and others. I'm just the execution of the knowledge pledge product is has many opportunities.
Can you help people understand a little bit more about the initiatives you launched? I think tell us your top 3 initiatives. What have you launched, which you think are responsible leadership?
Well, here's some of the current projects in our we're working. So one is called the Education for Employment. Education for Employment is based in Dubai, but they operate in 9 countries in the Middle East, in Lebanon, Jordan, Egypt, Morocco, Palestine, and they educate or they help graduates of university mostly, but sometimes high school, to prepare with the soft skills to be able to get jobs. And they have placed maybe 120,000 individuals that way. And they came to us, and we've been working with them to help them not only scale outside of the borders, but also with any ed tech skills and tools to help them deliver a better product and to their community. So there are certain things that's one. I will also mention H2Grow. So this is a hydroponic project launched by the World Food Program, where this group is able to grow food. Excuse me. They're identifying areas where food does not grow easily, and helping local people in those regions develop hydroponic systems in order to grow nutritious food in those places. And they've experienced some successes. They need to find ways to expand by finding creative financing models. So we've put together a group of people with experience in franchising, in asset-based lending, with access to global relationships with some of the global financing organizations, and we're providing them with these resources. So that's another one. And I would, I'll point to another one because it's of an incredible scale. This foundation called the Voss Foundation, they're looking to plant 1 trillion trees by 2030.
A trillion with a big T.
With a big T. They've done the math. Actually the founders are former Google executives, and they've done the research, of course, on the science that the sequestration, CO2 sequestration, you need the trees to make that possible. But doing the math, they realize that it'll take 1 trillion trees to just keep up with the amount of emissions that we have. And so they've launched a program in order to start. They started in Madagascar and
Mm.
another country where they have started their program. Now we're looking to amplify their voice. Actually, Leland on the call here with us today is the magnifier of that voice, where we're getting exposure, giving them exposure in multiple places with our media reach to be able to execute on their vision. So those are a few. Just and we have probably
No,
a few.
remarkable. You mentioned, I know the Ron Bruder and the Education for Employment. They even have done work in the Palestinian territories,
Absolutely.
in Jordan amongst the refugees, and they've placed many people with some gainful employment. And second part you mentioned, the hydroponic. I remember visiting early on, I think some 20 plus years ago in Israel, when nobody had heard of, and the desert, they were growing fresh tomatoes, everything, all in the water, and they tasted delicious. Absolutely. I mean, three remarkable initiatives and only 1 trillion trees. So three initiatives. So is it fair to say that, in your opinion, these three identities or the people who are leading them, would you consider them responsible leaders, or who would you consider the top three responsible leaders in your lifetime's experience?
I think it's hard to put a number on top three or top anything. We have, for example, we have right now, we're grateful to have 37 what we call global advisors. They're dedicating their time, their knowledge, their relationships, their networks to the Knowledge Pledge. And so we get together and organize in small groups sometimes, but out of that group, there's an amazing amount of knowledge willing to be shared. And so I would say that focusing on the UN SDGs, there are a number of organizations doing that. We are looking for incremental donations from people's mind and time, from a lot of people, not individual highly visible names, but just it doesn't have to be the CEO like in YPO, for example. It can be the VP at Coca-Cola or somebody who has a knowledge about a certain aspect on how to work on delivery or distribution systems, and make that person available to someone in Kenya, for example, who may be working on something that they can use help. As long as there is an opportunity to scale and an opportunity to give back to the planet and do something for humanity, that's when we go seek out the talent. And so there are some wonderful people in our network. So if I say any names, I'll exclude some names. I'm not doing that.
I thought I was in the business of diplomacy, but I think this is inherent in your whole character. I see that.
I told you we were brothers.
You remind me of something, a person who I think is one of the most phenomenal human beings, at least in my lifetime. I'm honored to call her sister, is Dame Jane Goodall. And what she said was very profound. She said, Bawa, small actions collectively is what is going to change and make a difference in the world. And it seems to me that is what you are doing.
Remarkably, that's, it's not so demanding, and it doesn't feel egregious to be asking people who have gotten to a certain place to say, would you be willing to donate a couple of hours a week or X per month? And we're never talking capital. We're always talking about time. Would you be willing to donate time? And if people are qualified, we are looking to build that community of donors of time into a major database where we can actually search it and identify people that way and match them with projects. Ultimately, technology will be really important in making these important matches for us. But so tagging people's knowledge is one of the challenges. What is the taxonomy? How do we actually get to know what's in people's hearts and minds and so forth, so we can go out and find it? But AI is there. We have great advisors helping us with thinking through the technology aspect, and hopefully we'll get there and we'll be able to do these matches. What I'd like to be for TKP to be known for. I don't think I shared with you. We hired a CEO. A new CEO is coming on board in a month or so, in September. So what I'd like her to be recognized for in a few years, when she is invited to the UN or the WEF for because TKP has gotten to be recognized. I'd like her to be recognized for the unlocking of hours of time, identifying people, bringing them on, and for the people to donate their time and becoming a natural part of people of our system. So it's a systemic change where, coming out of university, you should already be thinking that where do I donate? And we want to make it easy, having a simple, easy way for people to donate their time. And that's ultimately what TKP needs to be.
It's quite remarkable. You alluded to us being brothers. I think we are absolutely brothers. There's no doubt about it. Everything that you speak is something which I feel deep within my heart, something which motivates me personally. So, I mean, as you would leave this, I think we would love to do a series of where we talk specifically and more detail about each of the initiatives and how you go about identifying the people who have the time and matching them up with their skills and their passions. Love to continue the conversation. But just in closing, what do you see the TKP doing? Where do you see it going, my friend? And I say, hats off, salute.
Well, salute to you as well, because I'm impressed with all of your positions and what you've done. Where TKP, I'd like TKP to be an important part of the fiber of society to initiate changes so that people donate more frequently their time. Capital is something else. Of course, there is a need we need money in order to give away time free. That's a given, but it's not that much. It's a small budget in order to have a team to operate. It's not that much of a task, but to have 1 million hours donated, that's a big task. And so now that's the challenge, going to inspire people to give away their time. What is the incentive? How do we create incentives for people to do that? What is the recognition that we can have for people to be willing and freely donating their time? We've coined a few terms like the purpose and legacy, the P&L, and the ROI squared, which the second I is for impact. But we also are mindful of the KPIs. It's the KPIs, and the KPIs is knowledge, purpose, and impact. And that's what we want to bring in front of people.
Absolutely remarkable. I mean, we could go on. We could just keep on going. But an image that comes to our mind, which we need to map out on the CRL platform. Please know, Alain, that CRL is your platform to amplify and multiply all that you have still in your mind, not just which is already done. The image that pops out of my mind is, imagine if we had the map of the world there on our platform, and we could start pinpointing all these, what you call the Airbnb version, that here are the people who are donating their time in these fields, and where you can connect up and mentor and let people just start to connect up and do some things, make a difference in their lives.
Lovely. Honored and delighted, and look forward to doing that, of course.
Onwards and upwards. Lots to do, my friends. Thank you so much. Now you see why I wanted to talk to Alain and all that is on his mind. I think this is just, we are scratching the surface, the tip of the iceberg, literally. There is an avalanche behind all this that we heard today. And we look forward to engaging on an ongoing basis. Thank you. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you.
So, ladies, gentlemen, reactions.
The recording is still on, I think.
I still have it running, but we
consider
ourselves cut. Consider Bawa's closing as the cut. So from now on, but beautiful job. I thought that was a really lovely dialogue, and Alain, I thought it was really really extraordinary, the way that you position the story, and look forward to continuing the conversation. This is going to be great.
So three things that just came to mind when I'm like watching you guys here. One, there's no accidents in life. So the fact that, you know, I had the thought in my brain to introduce the two of you. You're both luminaries in your own space, but there's so much in commonality. I mean, both of you gave up working for your family business to pursue your own impact. Okay, just that salient point is so inspirational to people that come from very amazing families that have built amazing legacies and businesses. And yet some generation will say, you know, I'm going to carve my own legacy and I'm going to work on something different. Maybe I won't work in the diamond business or the real estate business. Maybe I'm not going to be in the tech business, but I'm going to do something else and I'm going to do it well from the heart. So that was one. No accidents in life, that you two have met and would get to work with each other and propel each other's initiatives. My motto has always been amplify the genius of others. And today at this conversation, I felt like it truly, my purpose was served in a small way where you guys were able to amplify your individual geniuses and bring it together. And thank you, Bart, for recording this and editing this, because many people need to be inspired that when they're young, they have role models like you two, and when they are achieved in the stage of achievement in their life, that they still have role models in you two, because you could be golfing and hanging out and enjoying the good life, but instead you're actually enjoying the better life, which is of giving and of purpose and of good intention and good contribution to society and betterment of humanity. So grateful to be part of this conversation. Hope you guys truly reach many people with this interview, and many people are inspired by your stories.
Well, in your own rights, Payal, you're inspired as well. You dedicate your time to finding opportunities to give back and to matching people. So you could be playing golf too, but you're not.
Yeah.
That is true.
And Leland.
I just heard some of Alain's best descriptions of TKP, and I've heard every interview he's done, and I think you relaxed him. So it's something to remember as we go forward. So thank you very much. And there's some wonderful material and quotes in there, especially the one about golf.
Yeah, you know, I mean, if you see, I think what is unique about this is that people being able to relate. At the core of it, we are each a human being.
Yeah.
It is then reflecting what is it that drives us. Yeah. What is it that gives us the ultimate satisfaction? And hearing today's story, Alain, I just sets me thinking of so many other things that we could be doing, and I'm sure we will be doing. So I have to say, Payal, that was just marvelous. That is absolutely wonderful.
You know, knowledge is such a great gift, Alain and Bawa.
Yeah.
Knowledge. And I think you both together are making good knowledge go viral. You know, I mean, that's the goal. That's why Bart and I and Leland are here. You know, we're here so that there's knowledge, and then there's good knowledge, right? And then there's making good knowledge go viral, because so many not so productive things go viral, unfortunately, in our society. And so between the Center for Responsible Leadership and Bawa, what you're doing there, you know, highlighting responsibility and leadership and bringing those two concepts together, and Alain, what you're doing with the Knowledge Pledge and really making knowledge the gift that you give more than money. Time is money. And I think we forget that because we're in this rat race of making money and more money and money and more money. But our time, your time, everyone's time is money, and let's make that go viral, you know, and that would be cool.
Yeah, no, Allah has really started something which is, to me, absolutely phenomenal. Because one of the things which I've seen people who have achieved a lot in their life is they sometimes are looking for things to give them meaning and purpose to life. And Allah, so I think that you really you've touched in me a deep chord, because I know so many people who have the best years ahead of them, but they don't know what to do with them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the job. Now, the idea is a good one. We agree. Everyone agrees it's a good idea. Yeah. Now the job is to actually identify people, bring them on the platform, getting motivated, inspired, and so they can actually be called upon to donate their time. And that's where maybe there's the collaboration. I don't know the depth of your communities, Bawa, but so how we can share.
I think suffice it to say, Alain, with all humility, amongst the 5 of us, I think there's not a person on the planet we cannot reach.
You may be close. At least LinkedIn thought we were 6 degrees of separation, but now we're probably only 2 or 3 together.
So Bart, next steps.
Well, I think the sky's the limit. I mean, and just speaking practically, I think that this was a fantastic conversation, and there were even some great nuggets after the conversation that we want to capture. But I definitely want to put the bulk of the conversation up on the website, and I'll need a week or so to get it edited and put it up. We can then also take clips from it. You all are welcome to use it for anything related to YPO anytime. I'll give you access to the full video. I'm hoping that the video quality is good, but I think authenticity sometimes comes across even if it's not. The key here is that it was just a really wonderful conversation. And then in terms of building on it, I would love to explore ways for YPO and CRL to start to not just have this conversation, but really start to get into some of the specific projects along that you were referencing, and some of the specific work that's been happening, and start to highlight that as well. And so if there are resources you can share that we can post and promote on CRL or also on causes, I'd be delighted to.
And maybe we can do something with that map idea that you had, Bawa. Like maybe we can, Bart, offline, maybe we can figure out technologically if we can do this concept of a map. Again, going off of the Airbnb analogy, I love those kinds of sound bites because people understand Airbnb model, they understand the success. And if we can make this relatable to the masses where they can understand what the Knowledge Pledge is doing in a simple analogy like the Airbnb model, and kind of make it visual, we can actually maybe do something really cool, funky, techie, sassy for the young people all around the world that could get access to it through the TKP website, through the CRL website, through causes, through whatever, wherever.
Yeah. No, I think there's clearly lots to follow up. One clear thing is that having one session each on the major initiatives that you have launched. So now people got a sense of what TKP is wanting to do. Then let's get into what actually it is doing and how people can begin to get involved. So the question more is, that the platform here is, the challenge is, listen, there is so much that you can be doing with your time and with your lives. Come engage, get involved. Whatever your passion is, we have the different things. Let's just make that work.
That would really work. And it doesn't have to be me. We can engage the people running those projects. If that's okay with you.
Absolutely. No, I think that's what I was alluding to. Yes. And for sure, the lady you're bringing in as CEO, she is already invited to our next Responsible Leaders Summit at the United Nations, which may be next year. And you will of course be there, all of us here. Bart is part of the leadership of the CRL, and we want to do an annual summit at the United Nations on highlighting the people who are transforming and doing something. So maybe looking at that next is, I leave this seed in your head, plant this seed in your head, is looking at see how we can, where the UN is most ineffective, it lags, is it doesn't have the means to implement all that has been agreed upon, even the SDGs. So how can we bring in partnerships and resources to implement all those decisions which have taken place?
It is one of the challenges for the UN is to engage with the with the business community.
Yeah.
So there's all the nonprofits there to help, but
Yeah.
not the social entrepreneurs are available, but not that much the
Yeah.
So and I believe we're reaching to that community, and bringing that community back to the UN projects is important. On our board is advisory board. Will Kennedy, the head of partnerships.
Office of Partnerships.
Yeah.
The man who started that office is a dear friend of mine. Okay, his predecessor. So I know him also. I can bring him also, because he's the guy who started the partnerships at the United Nations.
Fabulous. Fabulous. So you, like you said, 1 or 2 or 3 degrees of separation. We know have you gotten to meet or chat with Sahal? Pael?
No,
No,
not
it's a
yet.
different circle. Okay.
Yes, different.
Yeah. Tomorrow, the conversation with Pael. Tomorrow, she's in your seat.
I don't know what I'm going to say. So, Alon, I don't have the TKP. So, Bart, you're going to have to help me tomorrow.
Do you think she needs help?
I don't think so. I think she can do very well. But by the way, Pael, I'm seeing Shahal tomorrow for lunch.
Very nice. For lunch? Lovely.
We haven't seen each other in a number of months.
No, I would love to see who we can engage. But at the UN, I know the workings of the UN quite well. And I dare say there are ways we can engage in which we will bypass the bureaucracy of the United Nations.
Yeah.
You don't want to get caught in the bureaucracy, I can tell you that. So you seem to know much more about the UN than I do, for sure. So we want to be helpful. We really would like to be engaged with the UN the same way we have with the World Food Program, which is a UN initiative to start with. But with the World Food Program, we're connected with them. We see projects they see, they show us projects, and then we pick projects through them, and then so we'd like to not only work with the World Food Program, but also some of the other big programs that the UN has, whether it's poverty or health or anything else, and then find projects within those groups to support.
Yeah, no, we'll keep working on those things. We'll keep working. I mean, I have so many ideas that we'll need many, many more sessions along. I can tell you that. There's so many things on our head. But I think what I found with Pael is she knows how to synthesize, and very clearly. Well, that is one of her unique gifts. She immediately come to 1, 2, 3, which is just remarkable. So she'll keep us on track on that.
For sure. Anything I can do to help and support, I'm here. I'm learning as well from, there's a million ways to do the same thing. And the key is to never get caught up in your own way, but to keep growing and diversifying all the ways that from talking to different people and bringing different people to the table. I always thought this was a good idea to make the two of you meet. And today proof was in the pudding. There's so much synergy and so much inspiration. And Alain, you were so cash. I've never, like Leland, to your point, you were so authentic and chill and cash. And I've heard your other interviews too and podcasts that you've been on, and it was heartwarming. And I thank you all for your time to do this, because it was a random brainchild to have the two of you meet.